Okay, I'm Jamie Shank, and on this channel we are finishing up the reading of the shorter of the two stories from my Monster Saga, this one being Revenge on Monsters. We are on chapter 12, and we begin with the plot points, or bullet notes, which fall on the outskirts of each chapter. This is a shorter one, which simply reads, so I started thinking to myself, what does humanity and religion ultimately mean to me? Once I realized that humanity and my religion ultimately come down to the same thing, well, everything that followed was actually rather quite clear and simple. Before we continue with this story's epigraphs, well, spoiler alert. We kicked off the Revelations process at the end of the last chapter. Well, actually, 2 chapters ago now. Chapter 10. And, well, this will be the reading of chapter 12 of 13 of this current story, Revenge. This chapter does contain end sequencing, which continues the Revelations process that leads up to this story's ending. With that said, please pick a different chapter than these final 4 if you are looking to sample this story without the giving away of the end sequence. All of the chapters will be on this channel, labeled Revenge on Monsters, followed by the chapter number. Revenge is a shorter story, under 20k or 20,000 words, and chapter 1 really does just so happen to make for a perfect place to begin when it comes to this particular story. Some novels, they ramble on for a little bit before they really get all good and going and interesting. I even include some of the greats. So, with all that said and out of the way, here's why chapter 1 of this particular story is a good place to begin. Chapter 1 takes a standard cold opening featuring our main protagonist, or rather main character. Everybody in this one's an antagonist for the most part. But our main character, Tyler Sucks, and immediately zeroes in on not the location or current event this main character of ours is experiencing in the moment, at the opening and the start of the manuscript. No, it zeroes in on his thoughts, which are used to bring about perspective as to what's happening both in the present as well as the past, illustrating where the main character is coming from and what all this story will be moving toward and leading up to. In little time, the picture comes into focus, and a blurry image becomes quite clear. Now back to our reading of Revenge on Monsters, chapter 12, continuing first with the epigraphs. The Belly of the Beast, part 2, and it reads, I threw myself to the belly of the beast. My eyes dilate as I look beyond the rift. I try to break out. I try to get free. But every time I find my edge, I feel it tugging and pulling at me. But we've thrown ourselves to the belly of the beast. How something so vicious can be so comforting. Gotta try to break out. Gotta try and set you free. But as the beast opens its mouth, all I can hear are your screams. Chapter 12. Tyler avoided the basement for the most of that third day. He was no longer after answers. He felt he'd gotten all the answers he could really hope to get from these people. Besides, Tyler was beginning to find it awfully hard to tolerate the rank odor coming from the basement. He did not want to be down there any longer than he has to. You just can't help but wonder. What would possess a person to disobey and defy his captor in such a way as to make his and his partner's own current predicament and environment such a fetid and squalid place to have to exist in? He could come to only one conclusion. These people are crazy. Albeit, these people, they're sick in the head. I mean, there must be something wrong with their heads, the way they behave. I mean, not only are these people psychopaths, they are some of the worst levels and degrees of sin and iniquity, moral disregard, and just utterly dysfunctional behavior patterns that appear to go into such people. It baffles me. It astounds me. It really probably shouldn't be any wonder that they're writhing in their own waste down there in that basement. But I'm just left to wonder, how long will it go on? How bad will things get before this is done and over with? Tyler shook his head as he observantly realized. We're not even halfway through the week yet. At this rate, however, after what he'd heard the lady tell him this morning, Tyler didn't think these people were going to last a week. Tyler encouragingly thought to himself, just give it a couple more days. I bet he won't be saying that he'd never do such a thing then. Tyler felt a twang on his conscience hit him at that moment. Am I really going to let this man eat this woman? And he was quick to provide himself with an answer, thinking, after what they've done, yes, it is likely. I've come this far. I tracked them down and I found them. It took time and resources, but I did it. I'm not willing to kill them myself. So this is how it has to be. This is what I feel comfortable with. Let him prove me right. Let him prove me wrong. No matter what, I'll be getting rid of these monsters, and good riddance to them. I almost can't wait for it to happen. They say revenge is a dish best served cold. Well, what could be colder than standing by and observing while a guy eats his wife? I think that's pretty cold. The thing I like about it is that I don't actually have to watch it happen. I'm sure I'll hear the screams, and I guess I'll have to go down to the basement and verify that it did happen. But I won't have to be there when it all goes down, and I won't have to do the killing. Byron will decide what's to come. Byron will decide when it happens. Byron is the key to all of this. Damnation or salvation. And does he even understand what's on the line? I mean, judging by the way he's been acting, if he knows, then he doesn't care. The way Byron's acting, it's like he's already written them off for dead. If only he knew other people aren't like him. They don't want to hurt people. They don't think that way. Oh well. I guess it's just a matter of time now. That's what I think anyway. I can't wait to see my family. I can't wait to tell them that the monsters have been properly dealt with and disposed of. My family might never know all the details to all of this, but they will know the end results, and I will try my best to bring them a sense of closure. We'll get through this together. I know we will. We'll help each other to get along. In the end, it'll be all right. When I get to heaven, I'll see Ellis again, and we'll be reunited. That'll be the day. Thinking back to the hideous couple restrained down in the basement, Tyler can't help but think to himself, I can't even begin to imagine where those evil people go whenever they die. But something tells me their afterlife isn't going to be quite the same as mine, even after this. Some things are best left in God's hands. But we all know right from wrong, and we know that crimes such as murder just cannot be tolerated. They are unspeakable evils, just plain wrong. I believe God gave me the power and the ability to track down, take captive, and handle my son's killer in a way which will ultimately help me and my family be able to try to accept and come to terms with what happened to Ellis, and maybe one day even move on and find some sort of closure, resolve, peace. And that I'll thank God for. One thing's for sure, only time will tell on all accounts. Tick tock, and more hours tick by on the clock. Winding down, another day goes by, flies past. When we get to Tyler has done everything he can think to do to kill time, and now the sun is beginning to sink down toward the horizon. Day 3 of the monster's captivity is coming to a close, and this is the beginning of the 3rd night. Tyler enters the basement and starts down the stairs. Maylin immediately starts up by saying, Mister! Please! You have to get me out of here! He's really gonna do it! He's really gonna eat me! Please don't leave me down here with him! Please, mister, you gotta help! Byron's denying Maylin's accusations, of course, objecting at the top of his lungs. It's not true! I would never do such a thing! It's just not true! Tyler feels a pang of guilt hit him as he approaches the ghastly couple and retrieves their water pail to go and refill it. He doesn't doubt that the man is lying and the woman is sincere. He wants to let the woman go to save her from such a cruel fate at the hands of such a violent, despicable, evil man. But the thought of what both of them did to his son tugs away at his mind, constantly haunting Tyler. It is always foremost in his thoughts. I must finish what I've started, or what they've started for me. This terrible path they've laid out for me and led me down. And that would be Tyler's final thought on the matter. Tyler just keeps quiet and ignores the lady, continuing to think to himself, let her chant. Let her cry about it. Why should he care? After what they did, why should he care? And the answer to that question was a rather easy one. Tyler has a conscience. He doesn't like having to kill, but he feels this is necessary for him. He's simply taken the action he feels is necessary and most suited for him to avenge his dead son, to bring his family some peace and closure, and to stop these monsters from hurting anybody else ever again. But he ain't no fool. This is a matter of revenge. Even knowing that it's going to be done for me. Killing isn't an easy thing to do. I might not have to get my hands dirty, but I know I will still be at least partially responsible for their deaths. It's my plan, and no matter how I look at it, this is an act of revenge. Knowing that her death will come, that it's going to happen, makes me feel guilty, anxious, nervous, quite uncomfortable. I don't even know how to begin to prepare myself for the violence, bloodshed, and gore that's sure to be a part of all of this. I'm going to have to go down there and confirm what happened after it's done. And afterwards, oh boy, won't he be in for a treat? It was his test. It was his trap to fall for. It'll be his cage of all cages. It'll be both of their sarcophaguses. Byron doesn't seem to realize that defiance and resistance aren't going to get him anywhere. Tyler thinks to himself, I highly doubt he'll see that rewarding himself with ultimately only... I just fucked up. I almost got it. We started.